Because I just snapped my Achilles tendon and therefore physically can't walk, you're going to have to get used to a lot of my content being from my bedroom and in various states of undress. However, while there is still breath in this body, I'm going to be using that breath to expose Richard Tice and the Reform Party. So here you go.
About your tax cuts, raising the threshold at which you start paying income tax to, I think, £20,000 from 12,500. How much is that going to cost?
It's about 40 billion.
Not according to the IFS, it's double that.
And that's why I said earlier, because the IFS numbers are completely ridiculous. Frankly, a juvenile forecast made on the back of a fag packet. Serious economists.
What's your number based on?
My base is based on the calculations of 3 different economists.
Who?
And I'm not going to give their names.
Why?
But because sometimes people give you advice privately, and that's why you go to 2 or 3 different people.
So we just trust you on the basis of 3 anonymous economists.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? I tell you what, lots of voters are trusting us. That's why we won the council elections and the
tax cuts cost double what it is that you're...
It won't be, because I'm very confident
You're very
in my
confident
numbers.
in your 3 anonymous economists. But the OBR...
Frankly, they're better economists than clearly the people at the IFS.
I don't know who they are yet.
Well,
you won't tell
I
me.
do. And that's for me to have that confidence in.
Now, some of you might be inclined to simply take Richard Tice at his word and believe his 3 unnamed economists over the Office of Budget Responsibility that the government uses to make all their economic decisions. Now, you can trust Richard Tice on economics if you want, but I do want to show you this from 2016.
So, we can all play with numbers, but the reality is that there is no evidence that leaving the European Union would damage our trade with the EU at all.
And yet 60% of UK export businesses say that Brexit is making trade harder and harder every single year. But you might be thinking, yes, Brexit damaged trade, but maybe you just hoped that Brexit wouldn't damage trade. It's not his fault that it didn't go so well. Well, then you should watch this bit.
The businesses who have signed up to that letter say they need unrestricted access to the European market of some 500 million people. Talk to us about whether a vote to leave would bring more restrictions for businesses here.
Well, of course it wouldn't. There is a legal obligation on the European Union after we exit to organise and to negotiate and to sign a free trade agreement with the United Kingdom. But I think when people understand that there is a legal obligation on the European Union to negotiate a trade agreement with us, they'll say, actually, it's probably the status quo. It'll be broadly the same.
So in 2016, he said that we would be protected from any economic damage of Brexit because the EU had to legally give us a trade deal. So he was saying that a no-deal Brexit was literally illegal. And yet, what was the policy of the Reform Party just a couple of years later?
No deal is the best deal. It's the only acceptable deal.
And remembering, of course, that there is no major economy on the planet that doesn't have a trade deal with its closest neighbours, which means that his policy then became to do something that every successful economy on the planet has chosen specifically not to do. So anybody who's taking economic advice from the Reform Party probably needs to check themselves into where I just came from.